Hey everybody, this is Josh Cook, aka Seizures Palace, and today we are about to do Song of Week number 11, and I have something a little bit different in store for you this week. I thought I'd take a stab at what I thought was future bass. I don't even know if I got close or not, but it's definitely far off the mark from my usual style. Still very much electronic, has some cool techniques involved that I'll share with you, some unique inspirational process that brought me to certain conclusions, we'll say, or brought me to certain types of effects and instrumentation and arrangement and stuff. Basically, there was something kind of serendipitous that happened, and I'll explain it later. So yeah, let's get right into it. I've called this song Future What, because I don't know if it's future bass. I don't know if it's even future anything. But here we go. So, as you can tell, the song is mostly done. The point that I wanted to make towards the start of this video is that this was a song that I had basically finished, and it wasn't my regular stuff, so I decided to put it in a side folder. As a producer, if you're a producer watching this, I'm sure you have the graveyard of half-finished projects, or mostly finished, or even some that were just barely started. And I would implore you to consider to go through that folder, check it out, and just double check if there's any gems. I think this was a bit of a gem that I kind of almost left behind, and yeah, let's resurge it a little bit. I don't even know if that's the right word, but we're going to basically put it in the Song of Week so it has a use, because I don't think it would work on a Seizures Palace album. So anyway, all that being said, let's give a little listen and see what is being developed here. And then some vocals come in. Alright, so let's start talking about what's going on in this song. I'm not going to change much in terms of the mix. It's about as close as my ear can get it for right now. And also the levels are nice and hot, like if you watch. The RMS is peaking at about -3 decibels, and as much as a professional mastering engineer might go, it sounds like there's quite a bit of limiting on it. As far as I'm concerned, quite a bit of the dynamics are still preserved, and the punch of the transients is still coming through, which is nice. So let's check it out. What do I have here? Off the top, drums is really simple. I have a bass drum, a snare. They're both, what's it called? Noise Factory. A clap, a crash. This is like a classic Ableton crash, nothing too crazy. I didn't even end up adding any effects. I just kind of played around with a little bit of the macros that they had over here. There's an intro loop, which actually isn't an intro loop, it's just this effect sound. And then there's some vocoder keys, because I do use a vocoder for the vocals on this track. We'll talk about that later. It's actually three vocal parts and two vocoder keys parts. So I have one vocoder triggered to white noise, and then two that are, one's chord based and one's more melody based. We'll get there in a bit. I have some pads, and I did the classic effect that I've been showing you guys in the past, where you do some sidechain auto filtering. So in this case, the filter's open all the way. We're hearing all the frequencies, and anytime the signal comes from the drums, the filter is going to sweep down, so it's going to suck out some of those high frequencies. It sounds like this. Kind of gives this like bubble wrap sort of effect. I think something similar is going on with this one. So with this one, I've set the frequency down a bit lower. The resonance is up a bit, but still the envelope is pulling it down. We're going to hear a little bit more of, I'd imagine, like a lasery sound because of that resonance, something a bit more sweepy. I'm going to go back for a second. Why I chose to turn this on here right now is watch the gain reduction here. It kind of goes, and it's kind of like twitching as it reaches the bottom. It's not a nice clean looking gain reduction, so it looks like this. And you're watching down in the corner here. Just follow my mouse. I'm in the middle. You're watching down towards here to see the gain reduction and how it's moving. It's very jittery. Right. So this is our side chain. If I put an EQ on it and just take the little tick, now you can see that jitteriness is gone because it's not this big long flubby tail of a bass drum that I'm sidechaining with. I just wanted something more for control. Excuse me. So there's one more here, Future Pad 3. So this has the same effect, but it's arpeggiated, has like a trancey sort of sound. And then there's this guy here. And that was just some sort of synth stab that had a really big reverb tail. Kind of similar to what Madian would do when he freezes his reverb, but this wasn't quite so serious. I didn't have the big long frozen reverb sound. So moving forward, we have some hi-hats that come in here. Oh, this is sort of what made I was talking about that serendipitous sort of moment. Here it is. So basically there's a growly bass sound that I use within it's like a glitch funk pack that I bought a while ago. I apologize. I don't know if it was ADSR Sounds or if it was Loop Masters, but it was one of those two. They tend to be my go-tos, so to speak. And I took the loop that they had and I chopped it up, the bass loop that is, and I chopped it up. So I'll find a way to stretch it out over here so you can hear the whole thing by itself. So here's the original. All right, the filtering was just part of the session, but so if we listen, I've changed it up a bit. Actually, that's filtered, so let's listen here. All right, so there it is. So what I then did was I listened to the sound and I tried to make out what it might sound like if it was English, if it was real words. So what I ended up getting was, this is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up. So you can hear the rhythm. This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up. So anyway, that's when I went and just quickly recorded in some of these vocal parts. Okay, so that one is, I'm pretty sure, triggered by the vocoder keys that are held chords, and there's also a little bit of that sidechain on the auto filter effect going on. Listening to the next one.
This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up. This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up.
I might actually bring that out a little bit more in the mix because that melody gets lost a little bit, but that's the vocoded melody line, and this should be the white noise.
This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up. This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up.
And then those three together.
This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up.
Back in the song.
This is what it's made of. Everyone, the future will make you stand up.
So the bass and those three vocal parts really work well together rhythmically. There's already a bit of talking happening in the bass, so everything's just kind of gelling together. So that was kind of a cool moment to have experienced. There's a keyboard solo. I love doing those. Here's the sound of it. So that's sort of the idea there. Listening. solo continues on. There's still some other parts that I wanted to break down a little bit. Here I have my Damage drums from Damage, which is part of Contact, which is from Native Instruments as part of their complete bundle, which has been great to me. Here's one of the basic ones. One more time. So just a little bit of a trashy sort of snare accent. This one's a little more loaded. Some glitching back in this breakdown. It sounds like and then I have the classic rise through rise and hit. So very dramatic. So we've gone over drums, we've gone over the intro effects, the bass growl, damage, the sweep, there's a shaker loop, hi-hat loop, more hi-hat loops, nothing too crazy. This is a neat little rewind effect. And this sound I got through ADSR, and it was a pack that was kind of like Transformers almost. It was oh, let's find out. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, Robo Step is what they call it. So that was a really cool pack that I decided to try out, and I got some really interesting Morphe sounds out of it. And for that breakdown, it just worked really well. So listen to how this and this work together. And then with the bass, lots of glitchy, liquidy, bubbly sort of sounds. It's just it's kind of a neat sound that it's very neat, so neat that I probably wouldn't use. So it was something a bit different. That being said, gone over the vocals, gone over these guys, gone over the solo, gone over this, gone over that. What's this little guy? Oh, just like a little addition to the end of the keyboard solo to kind of give it a nice big reverb. And I think there's maybe a harmony there. Let's listen. That is a pitch bend down and a pitch bend up that are kind of working together in this interesting way. So I think I've covered most of what I wanted to cover in this song. But again, the main thing I wanted to stress is go through that folder that has all those old junker tunes, reopen them, and I bet you're a better mixer now and a better composer now than you were when you had made that however long ago. So add in some of the cool new techniques that you know to an old track, and yeah, you might get something that you wouldn't have expected. It's kind of like taking two spices that you wouldn't normally combine together and finding out that you have this awesome new dish. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this one for today. One more time, my name is Josh Cook, aka Seizures Palace. You can check this song out as Song a Week number 11. Don't have 11 fingers, but you get the idea. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you next week. You stay glassy, sand.